All right, the Reds, it is Talking Reds. It is Thursdays Talking Reds with me, Gareth Roberts, him, Fuad Hasan. Bits and bobs starting to happen now. The real footy is getting ever closer. 12:30 Saturday, of course. The Reds are playing Watford, Roy Hodgson's Watford. Don't worry, I'm not going to get into that again. Not on here anyway. We've got a preview show recording straight after that. You can get onto that if you're a subscriber. You can get it for free if you want by downloading the app and getting some tokens and watching it that way. And we'll get into Watford and Hodgson and all that on that show. Other bits and bobs that are going on here. The Reds have announced a pre-season friendly against Man United in Thailand, July the 12th, I believe it is. That's exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's good. It's a good sign that things are getting slightly more back to normal because obviously it's what two summers we missed out on having pre-seasons and I think you've been on trips before. I've been lucky enough to go on one as well, and that's the only time you kind of realise and you get the scale of Liverpool's following around the world and how mad people are for it and how excited they get to see these players and this team come over to their part of the world, and people travel from around the region and stuff. So it'll be great because it gives people an opportunity to see the Reds and I'm hoping that there's more games announced as well.
I always find an angle of shade or needle. I do wonder whether someone somewhere in a suit in both clubs has gone, let's go over to Thailand and do this and make some money and show City who the real big clubs are.
You'd like to think that, yeah? I mean...
You're having it?
Yeah, because that game, it doesn't matter where you play that game, it's going to attract... didn't they play in America a few years ago? And it was like 90,000 or something like that. So wherever you play that game, City are never going to get that sort of turnout. It doesn't matter who they play. It could be City, Real Madrid in any part of the world, and they're not going to get the same traction, I think, as Liverpool, Man United. So yeah, I do like that. I do think that there might be something in that.
Yeah, yous wouldn't sell it out. Someone's commented on the mug. Got to give that a shout, actually. I'm not sure how much you can see, but it says, Robbo, get in. And it says, it says, what does it say for that? My eyes are shite.
Hang on.
Blind bastards.
The only thing to say to a nice brew is...
Get in! Nice one. Got that in the post this morning. That was an unexpected gift. That was from Tony Charlton at Art Pressed. He does mugs, t-shirts, caps, clocks, bags, photo slates, drink bottles, baby grows and bibs, bookmarks, key rings, and much more. Tony at artpress.co.uk. He says, hi, hope you enjoy the mug. Keep up the Everton baiting, Tony. Best I've got for you this morning, Tony, is Everton are the worst team away from home in the Premier League this season, and they've still got to come to Anfield. That okay for you, Tony? That do for you? Also, as well, someone sent in, not just one box of Barry's, not just 2 box of Barry's, but 3 box of Barry's, and that is what is in my mug. The shame about that is that turned up this morning in a package from Amazon, and there's absolutely no hint whatsoever on there who it's from. So there's no note in it. There's nothing. There's no indication where it was sent from. But thank you if you are the mystery person who sent in the Barry's. Thanks for the mug. Thanks for the Barry's. Fill it with blue tears, says James there. One thing I wanted to talk about this morning is I seen a piece on my way in this morning which was talking about obviously Mo Salah and Sadio Mane faced off in qualification for the World Cup. Once again, it was Sadio Mane who was celebrating. Once again, it was Mo Salah who was left sad and alone with a load of green lights in his eyes as he blazed the penalty over the bar. That's not news, but what is news or what's different or what's a point of debate is I seen a piece saying, this will be a headache for Klopp now to manage, and it was talking about Mo's not being in the best of form. That's his second blow now on international duty. What do you think about it? I just think the fella's the ultimate professional. And surely, he'll turn it on its head, is what I would guess, and use it as motivation. I mean, he probably hasn't been in the best of form, that is fair to say. But I don't think he's going to, fall off a cliff now, is he?
No. I remember before the AFCON, there were loads of people saying, or before the final, the ideal situation would be, Egypt win that, and then Senegal qualify for the World Cup later on, and everyone's happy. And I see that being a thing. I don't think there's going to be any issues though. I think that's the one thing. There's obviously going to be disappointment. There's obviously going to be a little bit of a hangover from it. And I think I've seen things that he should be back in the next day or two, and that means that he can obviously get the rest and speak to the manager and do all those things that saw him do after AFCON. But if I was sort of in his head, I'm sure he would want to be straight back out there and playing again. And I think we saw Mane have a kind of boost in form a little bit. I think after when he came back,
yeah.
He looked really sharp. He looked really good. He was confident. He had that confidence back, which he hasn't really shown in the last couple of years. It looked like it kind of just all came back to him after that. So hopefully that continues and that goes up another level. And with Mo, like you're saying, he is the ultimate professional. I think the fitness thing is going to be one thing I think we do need to keep an eye on that and just make sure there's a big run coming up. So if we don't see him against Watford from the start, I don't think that's because he's angry or upset or anything like that. I think that's purely a fitness thing and looking after him for the next few weeks. But we've seen him before come back and be raring to go, and I think it's going to be the same thing. He's an angry Mo Salah is a good Mo Salah, and I don't think there's ever been any issues with him like kind of on the pitch when he has come back from international duty after the AFCON. You do expect him to come back with his attitude, that has got him this far and has made him sort of the best player in the world at the moment.
Yeah, it's an easy bit of tabloid bait.
Yeah.
And we've sucked it up and discussed it and spat it out. Someone's asked me to look at Swiss Ramble. I'm doing this on the fly. I haven't had time to have a big digest of it, but I will just say, I'll read this one out. Swiss Ramble, at Swiss Ramble on Twitter. He's great, by the way. He sort of explains all the boring world of football finance in an interesting way. I suspect what's being referenced is this one where it says, comparing Man City and Liverpool, City have higher broadcasting, 297 million versus 269 million, and much higher commercial, 273 million versus 211. Liverpool will reduce the deficit via higher match day, but it is difficult for the Reds to close that gap. Higher commercial,
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, especially when we've just talked about a few seconds ago about, around the world regularly, it does seem that, Liverpool, Man United, probably Madrid and Barcelona are, the biggest clubs in the world. City, given that they were, watching Sean Goater and Paul Dickhoff not too long back, are not. And yet, they're turning out commercial figures like that.
Have you seen the sponsor? That they uncovered a sponsor that was registered to a mailbox in London. Just some sort of empty shell.
Better journalists than I have investigated this particular situation, and I'm sure it's all out there. I'm just going to leave it there, but wow, it's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about is the papers today, because it is traditionally a bit of a slow news week, this, because yes, there's international football, but everyone knows, including the people putting the papers together, that no one's that arsed about friendlies and games where there's not much riding on them. Like, that Egypt and Senegal match was huge. Oh, sure. And then it wasn't even on fucking English
ridiculous,
telly.
Yeah.
Like, what? Hello? and so we're all like scurrying off looking for streams and mad ways to watch it. It's like, whack it on the telly. It's more interesting than fucking England. But talking of England, we're into about day 3 or something of talking about some people booing Harry Maguire. Today on the back of the Mail it says Maguire. I can't speak today, no. Maguire, jeers, and what's in this tea?
Yeah. Maybe that's why he hasn't put his name on it.
Maguire, jeers and fears. Southgate backs Harry after booing torment, but refuses to guarantee him a World Cup place. Then inside it gets even more dramatic. Look at this. What have we become? Like,
but who gets guaranteed a World Cup place in March?
I mean, look, Joe Gomez got booed after being twatted by Raheem Sterling, and I don't remember all of this then. And I don't remember like all these players coming out and the manager and all the rest of it. It was largely brushed under the carpet from what I remember. And I remember, look, we all disappear down these like routes of who you support and all of that kind of thing. So there's a bit of that going on, but I don't know. It's a bit mad, this, isn't it? I mean, he's got booed. He probably shouldn't even be in the side at the moment because he's not playing well.
No.
And England have always had a bell-end minority or bell-end number of people following them, and this is nothing new. I I'm not sure it warrants this many days of coverage, personally. But
no. You understand the manager after the game coming out and talking about it. Fine, that's fair enough. And players who have been interviewed after the game, they're going to be asked about it. They're obviously going to give a response. But I think a lot of it, the Joe Gomez thing is really interesting because Southgate did respond to that at the time. I did see it. I think in one of the articles, Phil McCartney's article on the BBC. McNulty?
Yeah.
What did I say? McCulty?
I don't know.
Oh God.
It's
both of us, yeah.
You've already had the smell of that.
And yeah, there was nowhere near as much sort of as much sort of response in his words and stuff than he did after this Maguire thing. And it is an interesting thing because obviously you're going to defend your players, and I get all of that. But at the same time, it's happened loads, and he's been booed, but again, it's a minority, and it's for poor performances, it's for things like that. So it's not, there's no malice in it, I don't think, and it's sort of one of those things that's always going to happen. It's happened before, and it's always going to happen in the future because it's football, and people are petty, and there is the tribalism still exists. No matter how much the England manager or the England players can say that we're all together off the pitch and in the fans, there's always going to be a bit of that. Because it's hard just to get rid of that, totally. So I mean,
it's grim. Look, I would, I've been taking the piss, and I'm taking the piss out of the coverage. But I don't agree that you boo your own players.
No.
And when some of our fans did it to Lucas, some of our fans did it to Konchesky, with good reason there, really. And back in the day, even some of our fans did it to Sammy Lee. I've never been behind that. I can remember as well, there was obviously quite a few fans that turned on Rafa and were booing draws at home and things like that. And I was a bit like, we're top of the league though, I think, at the time. I think did we draw with West Ham when we were still top and people were booing? Or my memory's crap, but I'm guessing at that. But it is grim. You should ultimately support your team, and I get that, but I don't know whether it quite warrants this many pages of cry arse and a couple of days on. Also interesting in the Mirror is that they are now turning their attention to the proper footy. They've done a headline which Fuad doesn't like, run-in races. I think it's because there's more than one thing. So they got battle for the title, battle to avoid the drop, battle to finish fourth, but nevertheless, I'd take Fuad's point, not the best. Sub-editor available for hire. But anyway, what is interesting is, do you remember at the start of the season, there's a BBC thing kicking around where all the people predicted, no one had Liverpool down as winning the league, did they? I think, was it Beckford or something, didn't even have us finishing in the top four?
United was second for loads of them, Chelsea.
Well, anyway, the Mirror's reporters have done their running predictions here in terms of who'll win the league, etc. So Andy Dunn, blue nose, but has got the Reds down to win. So fair play, Andy. David Maddock, red nose, also goes for Liverpool winning it. John Cross, Arsenal fan, Man City to win it, Liverpool second. David Anderson, I think he's a red. He's gone for City though. Doesn't want to maybe I've exposed him. Doesn't want to show himself up here. Soz mate. He's gone for City winning it. Darren Lewis Liverpool, Simon Baird Liverpool, James Nursery Man City, Mike Walters Liverpool, Dave McDonald Man City, Neil McClellan, don't know him, Man City. A bit of a split. How are you feeling about it all now? Because it is coming back Saturday 12:30, all of that, and it is an opportunity, of course, for the Reds to go top of the league for the first time in a long time. Put a little bit of pressure on them before they play Burnley. You getting excited about it?
I'm excited now. I think the break was the perfect amount of time. I think now we're all ready for it to come back, and then obviously there's a trip to Portugal after that, which will be great. And from then on, it's game after game, isn't it? And this Watford game, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park necessarily. There's always going to be a little bit of a thing with players coming back in, and different players have played different minutes on international break. It's good to see quite a few haven't played much. Robertson only got the one game, I think, and not even the whole thing.
He played 15 minutes.
Did he? Okay,
yeah.
That's
so he's
good.
ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He just needed the warm up, to be honest. Henderson didn't even get on the pitch, I don't think. He might have been the first one, I'm not sure, but there'll definitely be a little bit of freshness, a little bit more freshness, than we're used to post-international break. But then also, some of the forward players will have had, a couple of disappointment.
12 minutes for
minutes.
Origi.
Okay, Good.
12 minutes for Origi, 58 for Robertson, 90 for Henderson, just the one start. Unused substitute in the second game. Elliott's had 90 minutes for the under-21s. Fabinho's had 98 minutes. Minamino, 113. Curtis Jones, 118 for the England under-21s. Jota's had 148. Diaz, 174. Come on. But he did score and create a goal against Bolivia. Tsimikas, 180 minutes. Van Dijk, 180 minutes. Kelleher, 180. Alisson, 180. Salah, 210.
That's a lot of minutes.
Mane, 210.
It's too many minutes for me.
That's it. That's the full complement.
There's some there that do need it. Yeah, there's some there that do need it. Like, you know, Curtis Jones is great that he's been able to play some football. Same with Tsimikas even. So it does work in our favour a little bit to have some of these players because of how big the squad is now as well. You know, you want people. You're in that stage where you want when people come in to kind of come in hitting the ground running, and all these guys have shown that they can do that, and this is just an added thing as well. So yeah, I'm excited for Watford, and I think, you know, if the Reds get that, it is very much that one game at a time thing. I think you mentioned about Carragher saying that you just treated each game when you're challenging for everything.
Yeah, you're not having heavy training. You're going in for light sessions and things like that. But he said when we, and there's no reason for him to lie, he said he really enjoyed it. The fact that it was just like, okay, on to the next one. Where are we going now? Let's go, you know, keep going. You
get the impression these players are the same, like they got that same mentality.
As ever, there are references to food stuff. I've seen a crisp one in there. Graham Spencer says Hodge defo uses UHT milk. Okay. Someone's saying that a double-decker 9-pack is only $1.79 in Home and Bargain. I mean, maybe this is another direction for the content. We start offering you tips where to go and get chocolate offers around the city. Who's going to start at right back on Saturday? Fuad? It's Faster Tortoise 2. Wants to know. Obviously, his real name.
I would go with Joe Gomez. I think you just give him as much minutes as you can when you can, and I think this is an opportunity for him. So I'd go with Joe Gomez.
Okay, Vase of Flowers says, poor old slabhead. What else have we got? Lay off the big turnip-eating fridge, will you, Robbo? Meaning Maguire, I would guess. Not you, mate.
No, I was going to say. It's a bit harsh Thursday morning.
10 bobhead. Someone says they reckon this table is made of crisps. Someone asks why there hasn't been any crisp chat.
It's not very mic-friendly food, is it, crisps? There'll be too much crunch.
We did it though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did 3 different flavours things and seemed to go down well. Okay, can barely get anything against City. Well, traditionally they haven't done. I think we have to be honest about that. And they are huge odds to do something this weekend. But you never know. You never know. Yeah. I just think as well, I mean, they'll probably just go and blow them away. But let's just say, let's do our bit, let's win our game, and just crank that little bit of pressure up on them. You know, all of a sudden, even if it's only for a few hours, we're top. Yeah. When they were 14 points in front at one point. So you know, it's gotta be in the Reds a little bit, even if it's a tiny bit, and that tiny bit could matter. Other people are saying what? Can see Burnley getting slapped. Says someone there. Did you get some snow? We did. It's already gone again though, but you can still see it on the Welsh hills, depending on what way you come into Liverpool. It's still there. It looks quite nice actually. Some t-shirts on sale right now. Jogo, inspired by something. I won't tell you what because you know, in case lawyers watch. And there's a Mo Salah one there as well. There's loads of stuff currently on sale in the shop. Go and have a look. Mugs, t-shirts, badges, stickers, can't remember, subscriptions. Yeah, go and get on it. How did the lads get on in Ireland? Good, as far as I know. Yeah, it seems to have gone down well. Good reviews, good time had by all. That's what we all want. And yeah, we're going to leave it there. That has been Talking Reds for Thursday. We're going to go and record the preview show now. Lots of other stuff coming up as well over the next couple of days, previewing Watford, usual fun and games on the other shows and things like that, and then all the stuff around the match as well. This is the time. We are now in this period we've all been talking about, where it's game after game after game, big game after big game as well. Good luck if you've got in the ballot. Good luck to me and all. About time I freaking got one. And yeah, we'll talk all about that soon. Up the Reds. That's been Talking Reds.